This is the second chapter under business taxation, that is tax under e-environment. Under this chapter you will be studying two subunits, that is one is TDS, the other one is advanced tax. First we will come to know about what is TDS. TDS is nothing but tax deduction at source, that is any income generated by the assessee. Before paying the tax, some amount of tax will be deducted by the income giver. That is, for example, if we take it as a salary, the employer will give a salary to the employee. Before that salary reaches the employee hands, employer will deduct some amount on behalf of that employee and pay that amount to the government account. That is called as a tax deducted at source. Source is nothing but income. So tax deducted at source is nothing but which is deducted on the income of the individual assessee. Say for example, if you take it as a salary, employer pays some amount of salary to the employee. So employee is an assessee here. On his income he needs to pay the tax. Before the employer pays the salary to the employee, some amount of TDS is deducted by the employer and it is been transferred to the government account. So that is called as a TDS, that is tax deducted at source. So what are all the objectives of tax deducted? Why this is necessary? Because for quicker realization of tax, effective realization of tax, and the last, which is very most important, avoidance of tax evasion. What is tax evasion? That is escaping from the payment of tax is called tax evasion. So there are many methods where tax evasion can be done. So in order to avoid that illegal tax escaping, so TDS have been a measure to avoid the tax evasion. So moreover, many individual assessees have escaped, who are escaped from the payment of tax has been avoided by the introduction of TDS. TDS is based on the income tax and it is a direct tax. TDS is not exempted from tax, but it helps to pay the tax legally in an orderly basis without any interruption, and it helps the employer or employee to reduce the burden of the tax in a lump sum. For example, here the employer deducts the TDS, employee need not to worry about the payment of tax in a lump sum amount. So as the TDS is deducted on the basis of salary every month, employee gets some relief, that is payment of tax in a lump sum is relieved from the employee, so that employer as well as employee both are benefited from the TDS. That is, employee cannot escape from the payment of tax and employer pays the legal tax to the government without any interruption. So avoidance of taxation is a major advantage of the TDS. So next is TDS only on salary? The answer is no. On the various incomes TDS is applicable. For example, next thing is on the basis of fixed deposit which is deposited in a bank. For example, we have deposited some amount to the bank. Bank gives back us the interest. Before the interest reaches us, that is our account, some amount of TDS will be deducted on behalf of us from the bank. That TDS will be again transferred to the government account. So apart from that, any commission amount received on sale of lottery tickets, on sale of various related rent, then any casual incomes is nothing but winnings from crossword puzzle, winning from horse race, so on. So on various individual incomes TDS is been deducted. So there are certain TDS rates which is to be deducted, which is mandatorily fixed by the income tax department. So according to that prescribed rates only the TDS is going to be determined. The most thing is TDS, when the TDS is deducted, when the individual income of the assessee exceeds rupees 10,000, the TDS is to be deducted mandatorily on the prescribed rates and the prescribed threshold limits. So let's solve the problem now. So before going to solve the problem, there is a certain TDS chart rate. Just we will analyze that. This is the TDS chart rate for the present financial year. On the basis of salary, threshold limit is nil, individual average rate. I will explain it while it come to the problem. Next, premature withdrawal from EPF or PPF, whatever it is, the threshold limit will be 50,000. If it exceeds rupees 50,000, individual is going to pay 10% on the amount. Next, interest on securities 10,000 maximum, that is threshold limit is 10,000. If it exceeds rupees 10,000, individual and others is nothing but the companies, firms, etc. Individual is or the others assessees are going to pay the same tax TDS rate 10%. Dividend 2,500, threshold limit 10%. Interest on bank 10,000, 10%. Winning from lotteries 10,000, 30%. Winnings from horse race 10,000, 30%. Contractor, under contractor, threshold limit is 1 lakh. If it exceeds 1 lakh, individual is going to pay 1%, others are going to pay 2%. That is, companies and firms need to pay 2% on the threshold limit if it exceeds threshold limit. Next is insurance commission. Any commission related items 15,000 is to be exceeded. If it exceeds 5% is going to be paid. Relating to LIC, life insurance policy, if it exceeds 1 lakh, 1% is the TDS. Rent 50,000 per month, 5% by the individual assessee and nil for the companies and firm. Rent on plant and machinery 1,80,000, 2%. Immovable properties, that is land, building 50 lakh, it must exceed, sales consideration must exceed 50 lakhs and TDS is 1%. Professional fees, technical fees, so on, so 30,000, 10% each. Any compensation payable on the immovable property, if it exceeds rupees 2,50,000, 10% each. Any deposits, purchase of NSS, National Savings Scheme, 2,500, 10% each. Next is slab rate. Slab rate for the financial year. Up to rupees 2,50,000 is nil. Next to rupees 250 to 5 lakh, 5%. Next to rupees 5 lakh to 10 lakh, 10%. More than 10 lakh, if it exceeds 10 lakh, 30% is to be calculated. On that amount, education says present assessment year includes education cess at 4%, and then the problem is going to be solved. So let's look after first problem. Calculate the TDS to be made in the respect of the following transactions for the financial year. Salary estimated. Okay, first is salary estimated 4,20,000. So here we have to notice that it is taxable, already it is taxable. So income from other sources 1,20,000, again it is taxable. Gross winning from lottery, gross amount from horse race, insurance commission, commission on sale of lottery tickets, interest on securities. So this is the problem. Let's solve the problem now. See, there are various heads of income, right? 5 heads of income. One is salary, house property, business and profession, capital gains and other sources. Among that, here 2 types of incomes have been given. On that income from salary 4,20,000 has been given, income from other sources 1,20,000 has been given. The total of these 5 heads of salary will come to gross total income, that is 5,40,000. As there is no deduction, so this will be the total income as well. Then as he is an individual, okay, as he is an individual, we have to apply the slab rate. That is, as I said before, up to rupees 2,50,000 will be nil, 2,50,000 to 5 lakh. The difference is 2,50,000. On that, the first limit is 5%, so 12,500. Next, if it exceeds 5 lakh but not 10 lakh, the difference amount is 40,000. How? That is, we have the total income is 5,40,000. Out of that 2,50,000 nil, it is already computed. Next to 2,50,000, 5%, it is also it been computed. The remaining is 40,000. So on this amount 20%, it is prescribed rates have been given. So on this 40%, 40,000, 20% calculated, 20,500 will be the total. On this amount, the education cess at the rate of 4% is to be calculated, 820. So the total TDS is 21,320. But next thing is, what is the TDS payment made by the SSC monthly? We have to calculate it. 21,320 divided by 12 months is equal to 1,777. So this is what related to TDS. Next thing is gross winning from lottery. Whenever there is a winning from lottery, we have to notice that the amount must exceed rupees 10,000. Yes, the amount has been exceeded 10,000. It can be calculated at the rate of 30%. These rates are prescribed, that is a standard which cannot be changed, and hence 30% is calculated. Next, gross amount of horse race. Horse race is also amount must exceed 10,000. Here amount has not been exceeded 10,000, as it is less than 10,000, no TDS is applicable. Next comes insurance commission, which is to be calculated at 5% only when it is exceeds 15,000. Yes, the amount exceeds 15,000 here, that is 25,000 into 5%, that is 1,250. Next, again commission on sale of lottery ticket. Wherever the commission has been given, it is to be calculated at 15%, 5% and 15,000 threshold limit. Yes, the amount has not been exceeded 15,000, that is 7,000. So less than 15,000 irodrinda no TDS is applicable. The last is interest on securities. Here also same the thing, that is amount has to be exceed rupees 10,000, calculated at the rate of 10%. Yes, the amount has been exceeded 10,000, and hence 12,000 into 10% will come around rupees 1,200. So this is the procedure of calculating TDS. We need not to total this individual incomes, so only the TDS is to be calculated. So no need to worry about the total and all those things. So this is the procedure for calculating the TDS. It will come for 6 marks. Yes, let's continue with the second problem of TDS. Calculate the TDS in each cases. So let's analyze the problem first. Taxable income from salary 3,50,000, taxable income from HP is 80,000. It is already given computed. So we need not to worry about some salary reductions or house property reductions. Directly we can take this amount. Next, he is an individual. So this is important. He is an individual. Payment to L&T Limited, a civil contracting company, by check, gross 4 lakh rupees. Premature withdrawal of EPF, Employment Provident Fund, 40,000. Interest on bank deposits 28,000. Commission from real estate agencies is 40,000. So okay, let's start with the problem. Yes, I have taken income from salary. As we know that 5 heads of income is to be calculated in order to arrive at the gross total income. Income from salary is already been computed, that is already been taxable, 3,50,000. Income from house property 80,000. The total of this will come to 4,30,000. As the problem is silent regarding any deductions, I am not going to give any deductions, and I will consider this as a total income also. Okay, next. For this total income, as he is an individual, we have to apply the slab rates. Application of slab rates, the same as previous problem, up to rupees 2,50,000 nil. Next to rupees 2,50,000 to 5 lakh, it is to be calculated at the rate of 5%. Okay, let's know, is there any difference between this 2,50,000 to 5 lakh? The amount has exceeded 2,50,000, yes, but the amount has not reached 5 lakh. 4,30,000 ಗೆ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ 5 lakh, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 2,50,000 ಹೋದರೆ ಇನ್ನು 2,50,000 ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 5% is to be calculated. Among that 4,30,000, 2,50,000 is already computed. Okay, 4,30,000 is already computed. So next 4,30,000 minus 2,50,000 is already computed. So remaining 1,80,000 into 5%. see here 2,50,000 to 5 lakh. So 2,50,000 exceed ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ 5 lakh ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ನಿಲ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? 4,30,000ಗೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ 4,30,000 ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ಟೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ 4,30,000 minus which is already been computed. 2,50,000 is already been computed and hence 2,50,000 will be deducted. So remaining amount is 1,50,000. So I will calculate this at the rate of 5%. It is 9,000. So as usual, education says to be applied at 4%. The total will come around 9,360. So we have to calculate TDS for monthly wise. So hence divided by 12 ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ 720 per month will be arrived here. Next, he is an individual. Okay, payment to L&T Limited, a civil contracting company, by check. Yes, this is important here, payment to L&T company. So under contractor, two individuals will come. One is individual, the other one is others, that is companies and firms. If he is an individual, 1% is to be calculated. If it is related to companies or firms, 2% is calculated. It is clearly said that payment to L&T company, it is not an individual, it is paid to the payment to L&T company. So we can easily understand that this belongs to company. Hence 2% slab rate is to be taken for the TDS. Therefore 4 lakh into 2%. If payment made to, for example, A, Mr. A, like that, if it is given, we have to calculate the individual and take it as a 1% TDS. As it is clearly stated that L&T company, the contractor will come under the companies or firms which is applicable at the rate of 2% TDS. Next is premature withdrawal of EPF. For threshold limit, EPF threshold limit is more than 50,000. It has to be, as the amount has not exceeded 50,000, no TDS is applicable. Next, interest on bank deposit. For bank deposits, fixed deposits, all those things, amount has to exceed rupees 10,000. Yes, the amount has exceeded 10,000 here, so 10% is to be calculated. Commission on real estate agency, any commission, whatever it is, any commission, the amount has to be exceed 15,000, which is applicable at the rate of 5%. Yes, the amount has been exceeded 15,000, therefore 40,000 into 5%, 2,000 is to be calculated. Let's move on to the next problem. Calculate TDS in the following cases. Amount received from LIC policy 1,20,000. Amount from sale of buildings, sales consideration is rupees 52 lakhs. NSS deposit amount received is rupees 4,000. Professional fees paid to Mr. A, an auditor, for income tax work is rupees 40,000. House rent paid to owner at 38,000 per month. Compensation for the acquisition of a part of immovable property for expanding the roads. So this is the problem. Let's solve the problem now. First is amount received from LIC policy. Yes, LIC policy. For LIC policy, the TDS rate is 1%, but the threshold limit or the maximum limit must exceed rupees 1 lakh. Yes, under this problem, the amount has exceeded rupees 1 lakh and hence 1% of TDS is to be calculated. Next comes amount of sale of buildings. Sale of buildings is related to immovable property, right? Hence here any sale considerations, sale of immovable properties will come under threshold limit of more than 50 lakhs. If it exceeds 50 lakhs, 1% of TDS is to be calculated. Yes, the amount has exceeded here 50 lakhs and hence 1% of TDS is calculated, 52,000. Next, NSS. For calculating the NSS amount, the amount must exceed rupees 2,500. Only then we have to apply the TDS rate at the 10%. Yes, the amount has exceeded rupees 2,500 here. We have 4,000 and hence TDS rate can be applicable at a 10%. Next, any professional fees, technical fees paid will be applicable at the rate of 10%. Again same here, 10,000 is to be exceeded. 40,000 into 10% is 4,000. Next comes house rent paid. House rent paid. For any rent paid for the house related to immovable property, such things, the amount must exceed rupees 50,000 per month, right? Here amount has not exceeded 50,000 per month, and hence TDS will be nil. Compensation of immovable property. Any compensation regarding immovable property, the amount must exceed rupees 2,50,000 as per the TDS chart. Here the amount has not exceeded 2,50,000, and hence for this also no TDS will be applicable. So it is not necessary to total the all such amounts. Individual TDS explanations is enough, and hence individual calculations is enough. No need to calculate the total amount at last. This is enough. Next is fourth problem. Calculate TDS in the following cases. Compensation for the acquisition of land 5 lakh, rent received 60,000 per month on building, amount from RPF on premature settlement. Here premature word, it is important, note down that. Next, interest on deposits with a firm, amount paid to civil contractor 20,000, but the aggregate amount during the year exceeds rupees 1 lakh, and contractor is from X Limited. Commission on sale of house, interest on securities, gross 22,000. So this is the problem. Let's solve the problem now. First is compensation for the acquisition of land. Again, compensation, acquisition of land is an immovable property. Any compensation received on immovable property, the amount must exceed, the threshold limit must exceed rupees 2,50,000 as per the TDS chart rate. Only then 10% TDS is applicable. Yes, for us the amount has exceeded 2,50,000, and hence it can be calculated. Amount has been exceeded 2,50,000, hence TDS can be applicable at the rate of 10%. Therefore 5 lakh into 10% comes around 50,000. Next, rent on building. Any rent paid on immovable properties, that is buildings, will threshold limit will be more than 50,000. Yes, the amount has been exceeded 50,000 per month, therefore 5% TDS rate is applicable. Therefore 60,000 into 5% will come around 3,000. Next comes premature relating to RPF or PPF. Their threshold limit must exceed rupees 50,000. Yes, the amount has been exceeded 50,000, and hence 10% of TDS is applicable. 7,000 has been calculated. Interest on deposits more than 10,000, it must be crossed. Yes, the amount has exceeded 10,000, and hence 10% TDS rate is to be applicable. Yes, amount to civil contractor. Okay, here civil contractor, amount to civil contractor rupees 20,000 is been given, but the aggregate amount during the year exceeds rupees 1 lakh. Okay, it has been exceeded. It is to be exceeded actually per year. It is been exceeded. Okay, now we have to analyze whether the contractor is X Limited company na ಅಥವಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, let's analyze now. Amount paid to civil contractor, but the aggregate amount exceeds 1 lakh, and contractor is from X Limited. The contractor is not directly X Limited. The contractor is working in X Limited. I hope you understand, right? Okay, hence the individual is ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋವಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಕಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್. ಓಕೆನಾ? Contractor is not X Limited, but the contractor is from X Limited. Therefore, he is an individual, and hence the applicable rate is 1%. Once again, I will explain it. Amount to civil contractor is from X Limited company. It is not related to X Limited company, is from X Limited. That is, the individual is working in X Limited. Okay, as he is an individual, 1% rate is to be calculated. Therefore 20,000 into 1%, 200. Next comes commission, that is on sale of house. Commission on sale of house. Any commission related items, whether it is insurance commission, real estate agency commission, whatever it is, if there is any commission, the amount has to exceed 15,000, and the TDS will be applicable at 5%. Yes, For us here, the amount has been exceeded 15,000 and hence TDS is applicable at the rate of 5% and hence calculated for 4,000. The last is interest on securities. For interest on securities, the threshold limit is 10,000. Yes, the amount has exceeded 10,000 and hence 10% of TDS is calculated at the rate of 10%. 2,200 will be the amount. So here ends fourth problem. Let's analyze fifth problem now. Calculate the TDS. Income from horse race, interest on securities, amount from premature withdrawal from RPF, insurance commission, paid to sanitary contractor, amount from sale of immovable property 30 lakhs, amount from life insurance policy 90,000, amount paid to a lawyer 80,000. So let's solve the problem now. First thing is income from horse race. Yes, income from horse race. It comes under the category of casual incomes. Therefore, the TDS applicable is 30% only when if amount exceeds rupees 10,000. Yes, the amount has exceeded 10,000 here and hence easily it can be calculated at the rate of 30%. Next is interest on securities. Amount has to be exceeded 10,000. Yes, the amount has exceeded and hence the rate prescribed TDS rate for securities is 10%. It is calculated. Premature RPF, the amount has to be exceeded the threshold limit of 50,000. So as the amount has exceeded, that is more than 50,000 and hence rate of 10% TDS is calculated. Next comes insurance commission. As I have previously said, any commission related items 5% is to be calculated only when the amount exceeds 15,000. Yes, the amount has exceeded 15,000 and hence 5% is calculated. It comes around 1,200. Next is sanitary contractor. We have to analyze that whether this contractor is an individual or firm, company or so and so. Here wherever in the problem there is nothing specified that it is a company or such things, so paid to sanitary contractor. As there is no information regarding the whether it is a company or firm, it is understood that it is paid to the individual and hence it is calculated, it is taken as a sanitary contractor is an individual and hence 1% is calculated. 39,000 into 1%, 390. Anything related to immovable property, amount from sale of immovable property. For us, any immovable property consideration must exceed rupees 50 lakh. Only then TDS is applicable. Here the amount is not exceeded 50 lakhs and hence no TDS is applicable. Next, related to amount from life insurance policy. In order to apply the TDS for life insurance policy, the amount has to exceed rupees 1 lakh. Here the amount is less than 1 lakh, that is 90,000. Therefore, no TDS is applicable. Next, last is amount paid to a lawyer. That is professional fees. It is related to professional fees and hence professional fees items TDS rate is 10% and hence 80,000 into 10% is calculated. So higene individual items TDS na calculate madidre sakagutte, no need to total all these things. Individual calculation of TDS is enough for the calculation and this TDS will come for the 6 marks question. Today's topic is the continuation of tax under e-environment. The one part has been studied as a TDS, which is already been studied. The next part is the advanced tax. So this advanced tax will also come for the exam for 6 marks question. So let's know what is advanced tax. Usually income generated in the previous year is paid in the tax is paid in the assessment year. Correct, right? So any income generated in the previous year, the tax is paid in the next year, which is called as a assessment year, or it may be called as a assessment year is also called as a present year. So but in certain cases, the income earned in previous year, the tax will be assessed in the previous year itself and the tax will be paid in the previous year itself, which is called as advanced tax. So generally the income which is earned in the previous year, the tax is also paid in the previous year is called as the advanced tax. Advanced tax is based on the self-assessment which is to be made by the individual income earners and then based on the prescribed dates, based on the prescribed rates given by the income tax department, the advanced tax has to be paid by the every individual income earners. So the advance tax payment, the income earned in the financial year, and the tax is paid in the financial year itself. Before the financial year ends, any payment of advance tax, the income earned in the financial year itself, and also the tax is also paid in the financial year itself. For example, if the income is earned in financial year 1920, advance tax is also to be paid. The advance tax is to be paid in before the 1920 ends. Okay, and advance tax is payable only if tax liability of the individual income earners exceeds rupees 10,000. Yes, the advance tax is only paid when the tax liability exceeds rupees 10,000. And then for the salaried employees, there is no need to pay the advance tax. No need to pay the advance tax. The reason is because already TDS will be deducted. TDS will be deducted by the employer. Okay, this is the main important things we have to notice about the advance tax. The payment of advance tax is based on the income of the financial year. The tax is paid in the financial year itself. Usually we pay the advance tax in the income generated year itself. For example, a present financial year, if it is 1920, the income is earned in financial year 1920, and also the tax is also be paid before the financial year ends, which is called as advance tax. The advance tax is only paid only when the tax liability of the individual income earners exceeds rupees 10,000. Salaried employees need not to pay the advance tax because TDS will be deducted by the employer every month before it reaches the hands of the employee. This is the format of computing the advance tax liability. So as usual, gross total income will be given, that is total of 5 heads will come under gross total income. Any deductions under chapter 6a, that is any deductions relating to 80C to 80U, deduct it, and estimated total income will be arrived. From that, this is important, rebate under section 87A up, that is rupees 2,500. This rebate amount will be prescribed standard mandatory amount, that is 2,500. It does not exceed nor decrease. Only rebate is applicable only if estimated total income is less than rupees 3,50,000. The question arises here, what is rebate? Rebate is the certain related to discount given by the income tax department if the estimated total income of the SSC is less than rupees 2,50,000. Some amount of concession or discount is given by the department in order to reduce the tax payment. So tax payment liability after rebate. So if surcharge is applicable only when the amount exceeds. Next, education cess is applicable at this is 4% right now, 4%. Then if any TDS deducted will be deducted here, because TDS is to be going to be deducted because it is already been paid to the government. If we add back here, it becomes double taxation. So in order to avoid that, TDS will be deducted, that is already which is paid to the government. So total tax liability will be arrived. On this total tax liability, advance tax is to be paid based on the prescribed dates as well as prescribed rates. Such dates and rates are as follows. Due date for payment of advance tax. SSC, due date of installment, minimum amount payable. So for us this is important, that is company, firms or any other individuals. It is related to any company, firm or any other individuals. There are 4 installments need to be paid. First, let us start from June. It starts from June, that is 15th. For every advance tax payment, 15th will be the date. So before 15th June, advance tax liability is to be going to paid up to rupees 15 percentage. Next advance tax will be 15th September. Here up to 45% it is to be cleared. Next, if he pays in December, 15th December will be the advance tax due date. Under this, up to 75% he need to be pay the tax. Next, before March, up to 31st March will be the end of the financial year. So before 31st March, that is for 15th March, he need to pay up to 100% of advance tax liability. These dates are important. Any company, firms or any other individual assessee need to pay the advance tax based on these dates, that is June, September, December and March, and also these prescribed rates. This is important. So let us start with some problems here. Mr. A has estimated the following incomes for the financial year: income from HP, income from profession, dividend from domestic company. So there are various items given here. First is we will calculate the gross total income. So in order to calculate the gross total income, we have to make the total of 5 heads of income, right? So first head of income will be salary. Advance tax will not be applicable for the salary. So next is income from HP. They have given as 75,000. Next is income from business or profession. Yes, the amount has been given 7,07,500. Next, income from capital gain. There is no information regarding capital gains. Next is income from other sources. Yes, under this dividend from domestic company. Under other sources, dividend from domestic company. Yes, as it is a domestic company, it's nothing but the Indian company. Anything related to Indian company dividend will be completely exempted, and hence it is completely exempted. So total of 5 heads. So total will be 7,82,500. So this is the gross total income. After this, give the deductions. Under chapter 6a, that is nothing but 80C to 80U. The problem is silent regarding the deduction. There is no information regarding any deductions, and hence deduction is nil. This will become estimated gross total income. The same amount will be carried forward as there is no deductions. Then next, as per the format, rebate is to be given. This is important here. Rebate only if it is applicable. This estimated gross total income is less than 3,50,000 idre matra ನಾವು ರಿಬೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. So see here, the rebate is not applicable because the amount exceeds rupees 3,50,000, right? And hence no concessions or no discount is available for this assessee. So 7,82,500. So this will be the total income of the assessee. As he is a Mr. A, individual person, tax liability is to be paid on the basis of the slab rates. As he is an individual, tax liability is to be paid based on the slab rates. We will apply the slab rates. Same TDS littala say adene slab rates. ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಪ್ ಟು rupees 2,50,000 the amount is going to be completely nil. Next, rupees 2,50,000 to 5 lakh, as per the slab rate, it is to be calculated at the rate of 5%. Yes, the amount has exceeded 5 lakhs here, so it will be calculated here. 2,50,000, the difference of 2,50,000 and 5 lakh is again 2,50,000 into 5%, it will be 12,500. Next, rupees 5 lakh to 10 lakh, it will be calculated at the rate of 20%. First we will check it out. Yes, the amount has exceeded 5 lakh here, but it does not reached 10 lakhs, correct, right? So our total income is 7,82,500. Among that, already 2,50,000 is calculated, that is nil. Here already 2,50,000 is calculated as 5%. So remaining is 2,82,500. So remaining 2,82,500 mele calculated at the rate of 20%, it comes to around 56,500. So total of this is 69,000. Upon this, education cess is to be calculated at the prescribed rate of 4%. So when it is calculated, it comes to around 2070. The total becomes 71,070. This education cess is calculated on 69,000. Okay, the total becomes 71,070. So this is the tax liability of the individual SSC. Based on this tax liability, the advance tax is to be going to be paid. So now let's pay the advance tax. Advance tax. Installments. As I said before, any individual SSCs, whether it is companies, firms, individual SSC, 4 installments is to be paid. Let's start from before or up to 15th June. It starts from 15th June. So 71,070 is our tax liability. Here we are going to pay 15% of advance tax, right? And hence 15% is calculated. It comes to around 10,661. Next, before or next advance tax due date will be 15th September. Here 71,000, same, the tax liability will be the same for every advance tax payment. 15th September we are going to pay, actually 15th September we will pay 45% of the advance tax here. But among this 45% which is to be paid in September, 15% I have already cleared it in June. Okay, up to September 45% is to be cleared. Yes, he has cleared. First June 15% he has been cleared, right? And hence deduct that 15%. At present he is to be going to be paid at the rate of 30% here. So into 30%, 21,321 is the answer. Next, before or up to, next due date for advance tax payment is 15th December. Same tax liability date into, so in December he need to pay 75% of the advance tax year. Among that he had already cleared June 15%, September 30%. So remaining 30% he need to pay at the December month. So same amount last, before or up to 15th March, same tax liability into, so as per the prescribed date and prescribed rate, here he need to clear 100% of his tax payment. Among this 100%, he has already cleared 15% in June, 30% in September and 30% in December. So remaining now at present he is to be going to pay only the 25% of the tax. 25%. If we add all these tax rates, it comes to around 100%. Up to last he is need to clear 100% of his tax payment. So 17,768. The total of these must arrive at the same advance tax liability ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅದನ್ನು ಅರೈವ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. 71,070. Yes, our tax liability and after payment of advance tax matches with the same amount. So this is the procedure to be followed while calculating the advance tax installments of any individuals or companies or firms.